Chapter 49, Car Lessons. Jason and his friend Kevin were sitting at the table late one night. They each had a bowl of ice cream, and an auto locator magazine lay open between them. I have been saving up some money for my job at Konopelski's, and I want to get a reliable vehicle. This one looks perfect for me, said Jason as he pointed out an older-style pickup. Nah, Kevin shook his head. I want a sports car. I need something with lots of speed and power. The boys were interrupted by a knock at the door. Jason pushed his chair back. I better answer it before it wakes up the family. He went to the door with Kevin following him. Once he opened it, he found a young man outside. His jeans were dirty and his hair was scruffy. The man leaned against the door and wiped his brow. Wow, I'm glad I found someone. My car has a flat tire. I need $10 to pay a company to come out and change it for me. Oh, that's not a problem, said Jason, pointing to Kevin and himself. My friend and I would be happy to change it for you. Do you have a spare tire? The man put his hands in his pockets and shrugged his shoulders. I have a spare, but I don't want to bother you. Just give me a 10 and I'll be on my way. Kevin started to put on his shoes. Jason, let's go help him. We both know how to change tires. The man put up his hands. No, listen, I don't really want to bother you. It's late, so if you don't mind sparing $10, I'll let you get back to whatever you were doing. By now, Jason and Kevin were both ready to go. The man hesitantly started to walk down the hill with them following. Which is your vehicle? Asked Kevin as he looked around for a car with a flat tire. The man's pace quickened, and he seemed eager to put distance between the boys and himself. He waved his hand toward the end of the street. It's over there. By now he was practically running. Jason was panting as he ran. I don't think he really wants us following him anymore, but this is too good to stop. They turned a corner to follow the man who was now in a full sprint. Well, what do you know? He was trying to con us, Kevin said as he shook his head. At least we got in a good workout for the day. That is why Dad always tells us not to give money to people that ask for it. We're supposed to meet their need instead of giving them money. We can feel good that we tried to help that man, reasoned Jason as they made their way back up the hill. As time went on, Jason and Kevin both got their vehicles. One evening, as Jason was on his way home from working a later shift at Konopelski's, he saw Kevin walking down the street. He pulled alongside him and rolled down his window. What's the matter, Kevin? Kevin looked bewildered and scratched his head. I can't find my car. Well, where did you park it? Asked Jason. Kevin pointed to an empty spot along the street. Right there, but now it's nowhere to be found. Jason reached across the passenger seat and swung open the door. Hop in, we will just have to go look for it. Kevin looked around the area once more before climbing inside. I should stop by home and let Mom and Dad know where I'm going first, said Jason. They both scanned the streets and alleys as they slowly drove home. Mom, I'm going to drive Kevin around to see if we can find his car, Jason called out loudly as he popped his head through the door. Mom came out of the kitchen, wiping her hands on her apron. Do you want to eat first? Jason shook his head. No, we gotta go before they get too far. Well, I'll keep a plate out for you. But Jason had already left before Mom could finish talking. Which way should we go? Asked Jason as he stopped at the corner and looked left and right. Let's go down Cotton Street, answered Kevin. They drove slowly up and down, making sure that Kevin's car was not in one of the side streets or alleys. Wait! Kevin started pointing excitedly. I think I saw something that looked like my car back there. Jason stopped the car abruptly, and the boys jumped out. They walked down the street, looking around carefully to make sure no one was watching them. That's it! Exclaimed Kevin. He carefully inspected the car for any damage, but he did not see any. He opened the door and slid into the seat. His face wrinkled in dismay as he looked at the ignition. They messed it all up. I bet we can hotwire it, though. He went to his truck and pulled out a few tools. They lifted the hood, connected a few wires, and it started right up. It still sounds good, said Jason with a smile as Kevin hopped back into the car. I guess there's no law against stealing your own car back, but let's get out of here before someone reports us or the thief comes back. It seemed like Kevin's car was always giving him trouble. One afternoon the phone rang. Mom answered it and was surprised to hear Kevin on the other end. Mrs. Fox, I'm up on Skyline Drive. I had a minor accident. Would someone be willing to come pick me up? Kevin embarrassingly asked. Mom started writing a note to put on the table. Dad and the boys are not around, but I'll come get you. She hung up the phone and left the note on the table. She wanted the rest of the family to know where she had gone if they came home before her. Mom hurried to the car, wondering how Kevin's car would look. As she neared Skyline Drive, the road was blocked. She pulled off the road into the grass and started walking up to the scene. She saw Kevin sitting on the ground near his wrecked car. Are you okay? She asked as she hurried over to him. Yes, Mrs. Fox, replied Kevin. I was just out for a drive for some relaxation and ended up taking this corner faster than I should have. I ended up hitting that tree. Kevin hung his head. Now I've really messed things up. A police officer walked up to them and said, I've finished my report, so you should be clear to go now. He looked at Mom and then back at Kevin. Are you a Mennonite, young man? Kevin nodded his head. The officer had a look of surprise on his face. I didn't know Mennonites would drive fast cars like that. Kevin's face grew red as his car. "I'm sorry, sir," he said. "I think I'll be getting another car that doesn't have quite so much power." Mom smiled. It seemed as if her son's friend, and her future son-in-law, was learning some important lessons. These lessons would shape him into becoming a better man in the future.